or right calf, the Nuggets would go on to win the game 116-111. Now, in regards to winning a championship, JoJo gave his thoughts to The Athletic, saying, people have been talking about who has the most pressure to win. People want to mention me. I'm not at the top of that list. I'm not a two-time MVP. I've never made first team All-NBA. I've never won anything. So why is there pressure on me to do something when there are guys that have won 2 MVPs and a bunch of MVPs and haven't done anything either? We have JJ Reddick and Jay Will here. I'm going to start with you, Jay Will.
I just want you to know that the look that JJ gave me in the green room is completely different than the look than when we walked on set.
What was he looking at you like?
The look on set seemed like he was trying to intimidate me. I don't like it.
Combative?
Yes, very combative.
So
friendly?
Yeah,
combative.
Competitive JJ now at the table.
We like that. We like when you get a little competitive. Who should I start with then, JJ or Jay Will?
Yeah, sure, I'll take the ball.
Let's start with Jay Will. Okay, do you agree with Joel Embiid?
No, I don't agree with Joel Embiid. I mean, look, Joel Embiid is one of the best bigs the game of basketball has ever seen, right? So if he's one of the best bigs basketball's ever seen, let's go back to the 2019 playoffs. Like JJ, I think you were on that team, correct? Jimmy Butler. Obviously, that was a game in which they lost. 2021, got swept by Boston in the first round. 2021, lose after being up double-digit points multiple times to the Atlanta Hawks, right? That was a series with Ben Simmons, and a lot of the fall happened to be on Ben Simmons in that series because he refused to shoot the basketball, correct? 2022, they lose in 6 to Miami. He gets hurt. I get it, but still, James Harden. Look at all the things that has happened with this team. We're talking about Joel Embiid being the MVP right now. We're talking about him saying, hey, Doc Rivers has been voted one of the NBA's top 15 greatest coaches of all time. There is pressure that comes along with that, especially when Joel Embiid, over the years, has talked about how much he wants to win the MVP award. If we're going to make things about the MVP, JJ, let's also make things about winning championships. Because at the end of the day, we care about winning championships. Joel Embiid cares about winning championships. We've seen it hurt. We've seen him in the tunnel after a loss to Toronto crying because it means that much. So, yes, there is pressure on MVP candidates to win championships. What has been the thing we talked about Russell Westbrook? He's won MVPs, but he needs to win a championship. Why isn't that same strategy applied to Joel Embiid? So I hear what he's saying. He has a point to a degree, but at the end of the day, it is about championships for one of the best big men to ever play the game of basketball.
Jay, I want to point out something you said that is so true, and that is pressure is inherent. And when you're a star player, and when you're a franchise player, and when you're in the MVP conversation, or you're an all-NBA player, yeah, the pressure is there. It's always there. I actually agree with what he's saying here. He's not wrong. And Joel's a smart guy. He's trolling all of us right now. He is trolling all of us. There's 2 points I want to make. Number one, he brings up Jokic. Absolutely, there should be pressure on him, given that he's won 2 MVPs. Look, there should be pressure on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown right now because of what they did last season. Mm-hmm. The question, is Jason Tatum one of the guys that can be the best player on the best team? There's 5 of those right now active in the NBA. There should be more pressure on Luka. He should be talked about more, and obviously the Mavs have not done a good job building around him, but we give him a ton of praise. He hasn't won yet. He's been all NBA, 4 straight seasons. The thing with Philly, though, and this is where I'll push back on Joel's comments a little bit. The thing with Philly, though, is they had the most recognized tanking process ever in NBA history. And the result of that, the year before they tanked, they lost in 7 games in the Eastern Conference semifinals to the Boston Celtics. They have not got past that point in the playoffs yet. So when we talk about the pressure, I don't think the pressure is on Joel Embiid necessarily. The pressure is on the organization. The pressure is on Joel. It's on James Harden. It's on Doc Rivers. It's on Daryl Morey. That, to me, is the pressure. Anytime I've brought up this, and we've been asked this question about who has the most pressure this year in the play, to me, it's the 76ers. It's not Joel Embiid. It's the 76ers as an organization and what that future looks like beyond this season if they don't at least get to the conference finals. Because that is, to me, that's the marker. You've done a 10-year process, and you haven't advanced any further than you did the year before you started the process.
Here's what I don't understand. Why? Because this is not who you are. I mean, one of the first times you and I ever actually kicked it, you asked me about you have the scoring record at Duke. He's like, Jay, if you actually stayed your 4th year, you think I would still have the scoring record. Like, I love that about you, Jay. You don't run away from pressure. You don't look at the word as pressure with a negative connotation. Why do athletes today run away from that? Embrace that, man. Own that. I'm going to turn that into crystals all day long. Sure, if you guys want all this extra sound about pressure and this fake manufactured media hype that you guys put on me, Joel Embiid leans back into it. He's one of the most outspoken players in the league now. So if you engage in that kind of talk, just engage in this one too. It's okay to have pressure. It's okay to be the guy in Philly. It's okay to want to be the MVP. It's okay. Give it to me. You know why? Because my shoulders can carry the weight. I don't understand why, athletes today, we feel the need to run away from it. Just Kobe didn't run away from it. Michael didn't run away from it. You didn't run away from it. Why is it hard for people to own it?
Well, here's where I just think you're dead wrong on this. Joel Embiid has embraced the pressure. How has he not embraced the pressure of playing in Philadelphia and being literally in my phone? His name is Process. It's not Joel Embiid. It's Process. That's his input. He has embraced it more than anyone else in this 10-year run. I don't understand how he has not embraced it. What he's doing here, you have to know his personality. I'm not going to speak.
Let me know.
I can interpret what he's saying. He's trolling us. He's pointing out the fact that there are other players. We keep talking about the Sixers. We keep talking about him, all this pressure, MVP, blah, blah, blah. And there are other players that are not under the same scrutiny. And some of that is just because he plays in Philly and he has embraced that pressure. He has embraced that pressure. You bring up something about MVP championships. Like, since when? I don't remember a period of time. I was in the NBA 15 years. I grew up watching the league. I don't remember a period of time where the MVP conversation took center stage. It was the most important thing. It was the most important thing. Like, everything is about it's basketball. It's a team sport. It's about winning a championship. Mm-hmm. That, to me, is the pressure. You want about pressure, that's on Jokic. That's on Tatum. That's on
It's on all of them. It's on everybody.
Right.
It's on everybody.
It's on everybody.
Yes.
It's on everybody. It's on everybody who hasn't won a championship, because that's all we're really playing for. It's not about the MVP, man. Separate from his comments. I just wanted to point that out.
I'm down with it being about winning championships, because at the end of the day, I could care less about the MVP. I can care less if Joker wins 3 times in a row and doesn't win. For me, if you win a championship, I think they're at an inflection point in Philadelphia. Now, you played there. You might know Philly better than me. But it seems like there's a lot on the line here this year.
Yeah.
You have James Harden that's taken less money to be there. We'll see if he gets a bigger bag later down the stretch. You have Doc Rivers, who's voted one of the NBA's top 15 greatest coaches of all time, and he's been very much criticized throughout the process in playoffs, a lot of times with their rotations, guys off the bench. There's been a lot of questions around that. And you have Joel Embiid, who's had injuries at the beginning of his career, who's now playing his best basketball, and you're wondering, how long can this guy stay healthy? Are the Philadelphia 76ers doing everything around him to surround him with the pieces to win the championship while we're seeing Milwaukee play at a high level, while we're still seeing the Celtics play at a high level? So, yes, there is pressure. Maybe he is trolling. That's fine. I'm not taking anything away from him. I just want people to run towards it. That's all.
I totally agree with you that this will be an inflection point. This playoff run, this offseason with the Philadelphia 76ers, because of the things you just mentioned. Doc Rivers, he's one of a few coaches that has blown a 3-1 series lead in the NBA. He's the only one to do it multiple times. He's done it three times. There's been points in time in James Harden's career. He's certainly had some great series where he has gone away the last couple games and not played to his standard. And Joel Embiid, his injuries that you brought up, like all these things, if they don't get to at least the conference finals, yeah, I think there's going to probably be some changes. This won't be the same core group of people that come back next year in Philly if they don't reach the conference.
Can I go off script for 1 second? Just because I want to address it, because I think we're done on the Joel Embiid thing, but I really want to hear how you think about this one. Charles Barkley on 60 Minutes. I love Uncle Chuck. That is my guy. But when I hear him call our generation of players sensitive, right? The only moment I'm going to have where I drop the mic here is the greatest player of all time. Regardless, if you want to, for me, that's LeBron James. If you want to have it to be Michael Jordan, fine.